Hello, and welcome to the WIP 2015 Host Family Experience. My name is Jackie Mowry, and I am the Director of Leadership Programs for the Washington, Ireland program. With this presentation, I'm just going to give you an overview of what you can expect with the WIP class for this upcoming summer. So what is WIP and who are these students? Most of you, I'm sure, are familiar with what WIP is, but just to give you a brief overview, we've been engaged with emerging student leaders across the island of Ireland for more than 20 years. Each year, we select a diverse group of 30 students to come over, and the biggest difference for our class of 2015 compared to previous classes is that they are going to complete a year-long program of personal and professional development. In the past, the students have started in March and graduated in August, whereas the class of 2015 has started in March and will graduate in the following spring. So they will have additional requirements in order to complete the program once they return home at the end of the summer. Our students this year represent 13 different institutions across Ireland, Northern Ireland, and the United Kingdom. They study a variety of academic disciplines, including the hard sciences, law, history, mathematics, business. There are some accounting majors on the program, political science students on the program, international relations students on the program. So they're covering a wide range of different disciplines there. And the age ranges for this year's class are slightly older than last year's class. They range between 19 and 27. As you can see from the mean, median, and mode, most of the students are falling in that 22 age range. So we have very few students who fall under 21 this year. Approximately a third of the class are on financial scholarship. This is slightly less than last year. Last year, about half of the class was on a financial scholarship. And what this means is that out of the 30 students, about 10 or so will not have to pay the registration fee to participate on the program, and they also receive some additional financial assistance from us throughout the summer. And then lastly, there are a range of communities represented in this group, including the LGBT community. We have several members of the unionist community, as well as invisible disabilities community. So we are really trying to have a diverse class in as many ways as we possibly can. So now we're going to move on just to give you a quick overview of the summer and what you can expect of this schedule for this year. So on Sunday, May 31st, our management team arrives. Our management team is comprised of 3 alums of the program who each will oversee at least 10 students. So this year's management team is represented by Lindsay Baker and David Brooks, both of the class of 2013, as well as Andrew Maloney, the class of 2011. The students, all 30 of the students, will arrive on the same flight at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on June 6th. They are all flying into National Airport right out in Virginia. And so we ask that all host families be present to pick up their students and welcome the entire class that afternoon. On Sunday, June 7th, we'll have welcome barbecues in 2 locations, one in the Virginia and one in the Chevy Chase Bethesda Upper Northwest DC. So you can expect to receive an invitation from your host family barbecue host in the near future. Then the students' first week of June 8th to June 12th is considered their orientation week. And they're going to spend approximately 9 to 5:30 every day with us. And they'll have a few evening programs as well. So throughout the week, they'll have curriculum sessions, mostly focusing on identity, as that's where we're going to start. There will also be some sessions on having difficult conversations, digital storytelling, a visit to the Capitol on Wednesday. So the students will get a variety of sessions that week. One of the big changes this year is that the students will not be receiving cell phones from WIP at the airport arrival. And so instead, we've encouraged students to bring their smartphones with them, have them unlocked if they aren't already, and we'll be taking the students to receive SIM cards as well as data plans on Monday. So the students will be without a cell phone and a cell phone number until Monday afternoon. On Tuesday, they will have an evening event that'll be the first town hall that evening, and the town halls are a different format that we're using this year in order to allow the students to discuss topics that they've identified in much more detail, as well as hopefully try and build consensus around those issues. And so the first one will take place on Tuesday evening during orientation week. On Wednesday, it will start slightly earlier. It'll be about 8 o'clock in the morning, and they're going to get a tour of the Capitol right up front on Wednesday morning. We'll also take their lovely class photo outside of the Capitol building before they return to our location, where we'll continue with some facilitation sessions for the rest of the day. On Thursday, they'll still start at 9 a.m., but they will have the Northern Ireland Bureau luncheon that in the middle of the day, which you all will also be invited to, and your invitation is forthcoming. In addition to that event, they will also have their first speaker series on Thursday evening. So this is going to follow a pattern throughout the rest of the summer, that every Tuesday evening they will have a town hall discussion, and every Thursday evening they will have a speaker series. So you can expect that your students will not be home on those 2 nights. On Friday, it will be the first time that they'll visit their service site. So they will go directly to their service site, and we will provide directions for them to get there. And then after they spend the afternoon with us, we're going to have our first host family networking event that evening. And so we want to give the students a chance to actually practice networking within a group of people. And we thought, what a better way to do it than with the host families. This way they get to meet everyone that they didn't meet at the barbecues on Sunday. They can figure out if there's somebody that is working within a career sector that they are interested in, and be able to connect with you right up front during that first week. So after the first week of orientation week, we call it a normal week, if it could be considered normal. So weeks 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7 will all follow this same structure, where the students will go to their work placements Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Every Tuesday evening, they will have their town hall discussion from 6:30 to 8:30, and every Thursday evening, they'll have a speaker series from 6:30 to 8. On Fridays, they will either be with us for the entire day, where we can facilitate the curriculum, or they'll be going to their service site for part of the morning and then be coming to us in the afternoon. So it just depends, and the students will have a good idea of where they're meant to go depending on the week. Week 4, which is the midway point for the students, will be our trip to New York and the retreat. So we'll depart Sunday on June 28th at 9 a.m. for New York. We will have a chartered bus, so we will be departing as a group from the WIP offices in Chinatown. The bus will take us right to New York, and we'll spend Sunday afternoon, Monday and Tuesday in New York, where we'll have a series of speakers come in, some curriculum workshops as well for the students, and an evening reception on Monday the 29th. We will then depart in the late afternoon on Tuesday and travel straight from New York to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So the students will not be coming home between these two. They will be gone from Sunday through Thursday. On Wednesday and Thursday, we will be in Gettysburg for the retreat, and we will be returning to DC, back to our Chinatown location at approximately 5 p.m. on Thursday, July 2nd. The students will then have off Friday, July 3rd, as well as the 4th of July weekend. So they will have a slightly long weekend that weekend. And then their last week, or week 8, the students will have their work placements Monday and Tuesday. So Tuesday will be the final day in their work placement. Monday evening will be the Embassy of Ireland farewell, to which you are all invited. On Tuesday evening will be a student-only farewell with Norman Houston. Wednesday, there will be at least a half day of curriculum workshops. Thursday, a full day of curriculum workshops. Friday morning, they will spend the last day at their service site. And Friday evening will be the host family farewell, again, to which you are all invited. Saturday, they will depart for home, and we ask that they be at the airport around 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at National Airport. Next, I'm going to cover some responsibilities and expectations of both the host families, the students, as well as WIP staff, and what you can expect from us. What I am going to cover in this section is covered in detail in the host family handbook for this year, and I would encourage you to review it there as well. So in regards to host family responsibilities, we ask that all host families welcome and support the student, provide a safe home for the student, provide meals or food for the student to prepare their own meals, in which case we mean we're not asking you to cook for the student directly. If you would like to, that is completely up to you. But we are asking that you do have enough food in the house so that the student can either prepare breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They could pack lunch and dinner to go with them on the Tuesday and Thursday. And we would encourage you to just discuss this with your student as far as like what it is that they would like to do, what makes the most sense for them and their schedule. And lastly, we ask that you raise issues or concerns with the WIP staff. That is what we're here for. So any member of the management team, Emma Buck, our assistant director, or myself would be gladly and willing to help you out if there was an issue or a concern with the student. As far as the student responsibilities are concerned, they are asked to attend all required WIP program events, display a high standard of personal integrity, be culturally sensitive to the needs and expectations of their fellow students as well as their host families, to work as leaders, to abide by the rules of the program, as well as follow a guideline to return home by 11 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Now, this is just a guideline that we have encouraged the students to follow. However, if you and your family have a different requirement, we would ask that you discuss that with the student, and your requirement will trump ours because the student is living in your home. They are not living with us. So we just ask that this be a general guideline that the students follow. It is not something that we enforce. However, if this becomes an issue with you and your student, again, feel free to raise this issue or concern with the WIP staff, and we will work with you and the student to try to come up with a solution. As far as the WIP staff responsibilities go, in addition to what I've already mentioned, we are responsible for recruiting, interviewing, and selecting suitable host families, as well as recruiting, interviewing, and selecting qualified and driven students. We assist with the student and host family relationship. We provide training and support to both the students and the host families. We conduct and facilitate feedback. The management team will conduct feedback directly one-on-one with the 10 students that they oversee, and they will also be conducting feedback with the host families, which I'll get into in a few minutes. We're here to answer any questions that may come up, as well as respond to emergencies and provide emergency assistance when necessary. We will also communicate with the students' emergency contacts in the event of an emergency. We'll challenge the students to develop as the promising young leaders that they are, as well as address any disciplinary issues as they arise. So in addition to those responsibilities and expectations of the WIP staff, I just wanted to quickly review some of the support you can also expect to receive from us over the summer. So the WIP staff will conduct host family check-ins via phone to check in at least twice over the summer months. These check-ins will occur during the end of week 6, as well as during the end of week 2, as well as the end of week 6. In addition to those 2 check-ins, we will be conducting an in-person feedback session during week 5. So that will take place on Thursday, July 9th, with more details to come. And that's really just a time for us to get together as a group, for us to listen to any concerns, any issues that are going on, and try and rectify or possibly troubleshoot for the remaining half of the program. In addition to the check-ins, we will assist as well with arranging vacation coverage for families. So if you know that you or your family will be traveling for a period of time while the student will be living with you, and you would like the student to be placed in the home of another host family, we can arrange that for you. We do ask for as much advance notice as possible. So if you're aware of that vacation right now, feel free to send me an email, hopefully by May 20th, so that way I can start to coordinate and arrange that coverage for you. In the event that an emergency or something unexpected comes up, we completely understand. We just ask that you give us as much notice as possible, and then we'll work with you to arrange some coverage for the student. Now, in addition to the host events the host family events that WIP will sponsor for both host families and students, several host families in the past have graciously volunteered to host events at their home throughout the summer for the entire community. Should you or your family want to host an event for everyone, we ask that you send that information out over the listserv that is listed there on the screen of WIP15-all@wipprogram.org. That email will go out to all host family students and WIP staff. So that way you can communicate and you can, get RSVPs for your particular event, whatever that might be. Next, I was just going to cover the rules and regulations that the students are already aware of. Once the students have been accepted to the program, they are asked to sign a student contract with us. And in that student contract, I just wanted to pull a few points just so you can see things that the students have already agreed to before they even committed on the program. So the students are responsible for any damage to their accommodation caused by their acts or omissions, or the acts or omissions of their invited guests. WIP can terminate their participation in the program should they not fully comply with the obligations that have been asked of them, especially after reasonable warning and opportunity to comply. If their behavior causes distress or significant difficulties, if they refuse to carry out reasonable requests or have been involved with illegal substances. Additional reasons that they may be terminated are if there's harassment of another student, an assault against another student, as well as if the student possibly needs extensive medical care or treatment that does not seem feasible to receive in the United States. We will then terminate that student's participation so that way they can go home and receive the appropriate medical care that they need. Additionally, students are not allowed to drive while they are in the US, and they are not allowed to stay beyond their departure date of Saturday, August 1st. So some of the logistical things in regards to the students this year are that with the cell phones, as we've previously mentioned, the students will be receiving SIM cards to go into their smartphones so that way they can have access to data as well as to a prepaid phone plan. And we were trying to address two things with this. One, we wanted to make sure that the students were not running out of credit while they were here over the summer, as well as we wanted to make sure that they would be able to access their schedule in a timely fashion, as well as the online portal in which we are administering the curriculum. So the students have already been using an online portal to access readings and assignments from us in order to complete the program and prep before they arrive. So in order to assist with this change, we are going to be giving the students a one-time cell phone stipend of $100. This $100 is reasonable enough to cover the 2-month plan, middle of the road plan, should the student choose to purchase that plan or a cheaper plan. So they will have enough funding to cover 2 months. Should they decide to add on additional data or add on international calling onto the plan, all of those charges would be an additional cost to the student, but that's really optional and up to them. We are going to arrange for the setup to occur on Monday, June 8th, and some of this logistical work we'll also be doing behind the scenes before the students show up to help facilitate all of this happening on the 8th. So all of the students will have phone numbers by that time, and we will share those phone numbers out with host families once we have them. In addition to cell phones, students will receive a weekly stipend of $130 from the program, and this is meant to cover transportation and some costs of food. Before the students were placed in with their host families, I did go and look at the distance that they would travel between their work placement and their host family, as well as approximate out the cost of their metro for the week. And most students should be spending approximately between $50 and $60 on metro, so the remainder of that will be applied towards food. Additionally, they'll each receive a one-time Metro stipend at the beginning of the program in the form of a preloaded Smart Trip card. So for those students that are on the scholarship, they will receive a one-time preloaded Smart Trip card of $150. The rest of the students will receive a one-time preloaded Smart Trip card in the amount of $50. So either $150 or $50 depending on their financial situation, and then the $130 stipend. They will receive their first $130 stipend at the airport. So we do ask that you just watch and make sure that they don't spend that before they actually start off their week on Monday, and they can expect to receive their stipend every Friday after that first disbursement. Additionally, the students are going to be enrolled in a health insurance plan, and there are 2 forms of plans this year, and this was based on the information that was provided to us from the students on their fitness to travel form. So if the student disclosed that they have a pre-existing condition, they will be enrolled in a higher coverage. Otherwise, the rest of the students will be enrolled in a standard health insurance plan. All of the plan information, as well as the student's insurance card, as well as service site recommendations, will be forthcoming. We will be sending out individualized information to each host family, so you are aware of, this is my student's plan, this is their health insurance card, and this is where I can take them for treatment in my immediate area. The students will also be receiving that, as well as some guidelines as far as where service sites are near their work placements, given that the majority of the students are working within Washington, D.C. and may not be near their host family home. In the event of an emergency, if the student is with you, we just recommend that you take the student to the hospital and you call the WIP emergency phone number. The WIP emergency phone number is available on the last page of the host family handbook, and that phone number will always be answered by a member of the WIP staff. So our WIP staff will have an on-call rotation as far as who is responsible for first responding to the call, and depending on the severity of the call, the situation will then be escalated to either Emma or myself. And regardless, if you have any questions, call the WIP emergency phone, and then the WIP staff will work with you to address the issue. Lastly, we are asking that all host families sign a host family agreement this year. And this again is part of kind of 2 different reasons why we are rolling out this host family agreement. One, when you've signed up to host in the past, you may have signed an agreement before that briefly was stating that you were going to provide the safe home for your student, that no one in your home will cause harm to the student. This year, given that we've shared some private data of the student's health background with certain host families, we're asking that all host families keep that information confidential if that was shared with you. Additionally, we are asking that all host families have homeowners insurance to cover any potential damages that might result in the home due to the fact that the student is living with them. This host family agreement is going to be made available on our website. It will also be mailed out to you if you would like us to mail you a hard copy, and we ask that it be returned to us either via email or via hard mail before the students arrive on the program. So as I just was going over a recording of the orientation, I'm going to skip this section. But if there are questions or any concerns, feel free to reach out to myself or Emma Buck directly, or your management team member, which was indicated on your student profile page. So lastly, I'm going to touch upon the key dates for this summer. So the first key date that is coming up, and we'll send out a reminder as well over email, would be May 20th. And we are asking for anyone who is interested in attending the Washington Nationals game on June 21st with our students, as well as with our sister program, WIP. We ask that you RSVP by May 20th. Host families will be responsible for the cost of their own ticket. WIP will be covering the cost of the student's ticket. And so we are looking at tickets to be priced at either $10 or $17, depending on the availability. But if you're interested in joining us, it's a 1:35 game against the Pittsburgh Pirates on June 21st. So please RSVP by May 20th. Additionally, if you know that you're going to be away on vacation, we ask that you notify WIP staff of your vacation coverage by May 20th as well. On June 6th, the students arrive, and on June 7th, that Sunday, we'll have the host family welcome barbecues. The first major event with all host families will be on June 11th at the Northern Ireland Bureau Luncheon, with an invitation forthcoming. On June 12th, we have that host family networking session, which will occur in a central location after work on June 12th, and we'll send out more information on that as that becomes available. On June 13th and 14th, it's our first host family weekend. On June 21st will be the Washington Nationals game with WIP. June 28th through July 2nd will be New York and the retreat, so the students will not be home for those 5 days. On July 4th, it'll be our host family 4th of July barbecue. We are still looking for a host family to host this barbecue, so if you're interested, please let me know. On July 9th will be the host family feedback session that I had mentioned previously. On July 18th and 19th, it's the second host family weekend. July 27th, the Irish Embassy farewell. July 31st, the host family farewell. And on August 1st, the students will depart for home. One of the things that I had mentioned briefly before is that we're going to be creating a host family website this year, which will have all of this information, including a Google Calendar. In case you like to sync Google Calendars to your own smartphone, you'll have the opportunity to do so. It'll also contain the host family handbook, the host family agreement, the health insurance information, as well as any additional information that we would like you to have. We're going to place it in one central depository on our website, including the recording of this video. Additionally, we will be sending out weekly emails when the program is occurring for host families, so that way you can stay up to date with the most relevant information for you and for your student. So at this time, I just want to thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you all enjoy the summer. Feel free to reach out to myself or any of my fellow WIP staff if there are any lingering questions or concerns out there. We are more than happy to help and work with you. Thank you so much. Talk to you all soon.